Hey, we are coming back for the second hour of Night Terrors Radio. We had a pretty good first hour. We had Craig Ahrens on and David Espinosa. They were the writer and director of The Evil Day on the Street. Talked about some real-life haunting experiences. Even talked about some spookiness on the set, which was pretty cool.
That was cool.
Good couple guys to have on. Glad we're able to have them on tonight. And I'm glad we're able to actually get the kinks worked out with this Facebook shit, too. Right? I mean, this has been the first time that people actually were able to hear the guests.
Yeah. Right.
Hear all of us.
Blame Canada.
When in doubt.
I honestly don't think the Skype and Facebook can translate to Canada and back.
Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe it gets up to Canada and says, hey, we like it, we're just going to stay here.
That's probably what happens.
It is possible. It is definitely possible.
Canada's awesome.
So I figured we've got a lot to talk about. A lot of stuff been posted on the site this week. We've got some news, also some reviews. We'll talk about what we've seen, maybe some things we haven't seen.
Yeah.
And we'll just, you know what, we'll go through this week in horror. If you guys don't mind.
No. We love This Week in Horror.
So, for those of you, by the way, who will be listening or will be listening via the podcast, as always, I am Ash Hamilton. I'm with horror-fix.com. With me, I have my co-host, Jim Chandler and John Gardner.
Yo.
Also, Horror Fix alumni. And for those of you who are listening to the news and also listening to some of our items about our reviews, films we've seen, you can actually hop on the website. We've got this website. It's pretty cool. Dedicated to horror. It's got tons of shit on it.
Like a .com thing?
It's a .com
Huh,
thing. It really
that's weird.
It's a -fix.com.
It is. It's a hyphen fix.
So there's a hyphen and a dot.
That's right.
So if you wanted to go on horror-fix.com,
Technology.
you'll see a lot of the things that we are talking about tonight. And a lot of things just coming up. A lot of news we post daily. Reviews. Exclusives, by the way. Night Terrors Radio, if you do not download it via iTunes or Stitcher or all the other podcast directories we are listed in, you can actually just go right onto horrorfix.com. You can go right onto the feed. We update weekly with at least one episode of the show, so you can also listen to it right from the main page.
There you go.
Or you can go to the feed and listen to any episode we've posted, essentially from the feed itself. So, how's everybody been this week?
Super.
Good.
So
Super good.
So Jim and I had an interesting experience where, so I collect a lot of things via horror. In case you can't tell from looking around my office,
Right.
Very true.
I have a lot of horror memorabilia, and this is just stuff that's out.
Right.
It's not the stuff that's in tote after tote after tote. So the stuff that's out is just the stuff that I sort of like looking from my desk over my monitors, over my cameras, and seeing, you know, for example, my 3-pack of 3.75-inch It figures.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a Pinhead bobblehead. I've got a lot of the Nika alien stuff over there and some of the reaction alien stuff. I've got a Critter. I've got some Ultimate Jason figures.
I got a
and
couple
stuff
critters
like
in my pants.
that. Those aren't critters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or if they are, yeah.
Or crates,
Yeah.
as they might call them in the Great Void. But they're definitely something.
Yeah.
I don't even know what we'd call the Great Void. I mean, do we even want to go into that territory?
The Great Void is on the other side.
So in collecting horror memorabilia and in collecting horror figures and movie posters and things of that nature, so there's always an opportunity for me to scour Facebook Live. Not Facebook Live, but Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Right? We're actually on Facebook Live. So as I'm scouring Facebook Marketplace, I'll often see stuff that either I never knew I wanted, or I've always wanted
But didn't know it?
and never had access to.
Oh.
So as I was looking through Facebook Live, I saw a original one sheet for Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D, which is one of my favorite Friday the 13ths. Actually, I would say it's a dead tie between Part 3 and Part 4.
Wow.
I love Part 3 and I love Part 4.
Yeah.
Part 3, to me, changed up the horror movie formula. I really do believe that Friday the 13th Part 3 had a huge impact on horror films in general. I think it had a huge impact on how we viewed horror icons.
Right.
I think the imagery and the symbolism changed with Part 3. We got the hockey mask.
We did.
You know, we got the probably the most iconic symbol in horror films today. We got in Friday the 13th Part 3.
I think you're right.
So, and plus the fact that Jim and I have also had the luxury of seeing it in active shutter 3D. Well, John as well.
Yeah,
Did you see that?
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so we've all seen the
That's
movie not just in anaglyph, You know, 3D. We've seen it in Active Shutter 3D.
Yeah.
So what's interesting about my Facebook Marketplace experience is also the fact that, man, I spent a shit ton of money on Facebook Marketplace. My wife is not down here. I spend a shit ton of money on Facebook Marketplace. I am always finding something on Facebook Marketplace, and I always feel like I get it a little bit cheaper because it's like people who just don't want to fuck with eBay.
Right, exactly.
Like they look at eBay and it's like, I'm not even trying to wrangle this monster.
Right.
I don't want to list shit. You got to take pictures. You got to deal with these assholes asking me questions all the time.
And you got to ship it.
And you got to ship it, right?
Ship it.
And I know I've had problems with eBay.
Sure.
Shipping something immaculate, you have insurance on it, all of a sudden they call, you know, and they're like, this isn't the right sweater. And I'm like, I didn't sell you a sweater, asshole. This isn't even my item.
Right.
But that's the kind of stuff you deal with on eBay, right?
Right.
So I always scour, and because I figure these are people who, for the most part, they just don't want to be on eBay. So I probably am going to get stuff a little bit cheaper.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I saw this poster, and I'm like, holy shit. Now, usually when I see something that I really, really want, it always ends up it always happens to be like 2 or 3 hours away.
Right.
Right? It's always like, that's great, now you just have to drive to Chicago to get it.
That $50 in gas just adds to the cost of the item.
Yeah, exactly. So now I finally got my hardcover bound copy of The World of Dark Crystal, and altogether only cost me $225.
Right.
Even though the reprints list for about $30 on Amazon. So I found this and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I know this has got to be like in Chicago. It's got to be somewhere inconvenient.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the theme. It's going to be somewhere inconvenient. So I look and it's like, holy shit, it's in Springfield.
Right.
It's in Springfield. And I mean, it had been listed for a few hours, like overnight. This was like the morning.
Sure.
And I kept thinking to myself, who else is going to want this poster in the burg of Springfield, Illinois?
Right.
And, of course, there was one point I thought, fucking Jim Chandler. There was actually... I'm sorry, Jim, I love you.
Yeah,
A lot of people have said that.
Is that right?
But there was a point where I actually said these words to myself, fucking Jim Chandler. It was like I knew it was either going to be me or it was going to be you.
Right.
Like, within like a 60-mile radius... People who are awake, because John's probably still asleep at that particular time,
I was probably just getting to bed.
or just getting to bed. Like it's gonna be a race. Like the race is on, the great race for the Friday the 13th Part 3 3D poster. And I emailed them or messaged them as it would be on Facebook, and I half expected just very simple. Like, of course I've still got it because this is yours, Ash.
You're right.
You're the only guy around besides Jim fucking Chandler who is going to buy this poster.
Right.
And they said it's sold. And the thing about it is like I'm beside myself at this point.
Right.
It's not that I have obviously been in situations where I have wanted to buy things privately off of people, and those things have been sold.
Right.
It has happened. But not this situation.
Right.
Because it's a Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D poster. It's mine.
Right.
It's supposed to be mine, and they told me that the goddamn thing was sold.
You're precious.
So immediately, I get on Messenger with my wife, and I just... Like, I'm not letting my wife, have it, like, give her the earful, but it's just, I'm voicing my dissent at the world and life and whatever fucked up karma brought me to this event where I couldn't get this poster. And I'm like, okay, so this poster was on Facebook Marketplace. It's like, I was all ready to go get it. It's sold. Fucking Jim Chandler has got my Friday the 13th Part 3 3D poster. And, I go on and on. And I'm like, now I gotta message Jim.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, did you happen to buy Friday the 13th Part 3? No, I was being snarky, but it was like I knew Jim had it. I just knew you were probably looking at it and then putting it in a room and you'll never look at it again.
Mm-hmm. Probably true.
It's probably true.
Probably true.
And then, like, she's like, oh, would it be this poster? And my wife snaps a picture of the poster already hanging in my office. So look at the serendipity. So needless to say, if you can see, if you look on... Okay, so I've got the cam on now that has Jim and John on it, and you can see the mics. And if you look in the far right-hand corner, you will see that is the top edge. There's a lot of glare on it from the overhead light. You can see that is a Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D poster. So that's how it happened. So the more that we sort of talk about this poster, my wife was like, he's got a lot of posters.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently this guy in town, he bought like a garage or something, right?
Yeah, he was helping a guy out.
Was helping a guy out, and this guy had a lot of stuff in the garage. So my wife's like, listen, because I told him there's a couple other posters that I wanted. I mean, he had a Gates of Hell poster.
Yes.
Which is like, that's another Holy Grail poster for me. He had a Hell Knight poster. I mean, these are good posters. Dead Zone, Cujo. The guy's just got... And then she said, I think he's got a lot. Like, a lot. And I'm like, well, okay. In my mind, a lot is like 40.
Yeah, right.
40 or 50 posters. Because you just don't see, like, this kind of a haul.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife's like, let's go over there and pick up Gates of Hell and Hell Knight. And then maybe you can look through the posters with him. I'm like, that'd be pretty cool. So we walk into this guy's garage, and there's like 4 stacks of one-sheets. Stacks of posters. Wow. Now, some of them are in varying shape because, these are like found items practically.
Right.
Yeah.
There are some gems in this garage. Stuff that I haven't seen in forever.
Yeah.
Stuff that I need.
Right.
Furthermore,
it's a moral imperative.
Stuff that I need to own.
Right.
So, I called Jim and I'm like, you got to head over here. Like, there's a lot.
Like now.
Yeah. Like there's a lot. So Jim and I spent like the better part of 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Sorting through these posters, and it wasn't just the idea that they were posters, because this was like memory lane.
Yeah.
These are movies that you don't think about. There's a lot of obscure 80s stuff in there.
Right, and not even stuff that's horror that we were excited about. Just some of the stuff that you just don't see. We'd never seen the artwork for, in some of this stuff. You see the video cover and it was one way, and the actual theatrical one sheet, unless you were looking for it, you'd never see it again.
Yeah.
Now, the posters now have been reduced to what? 26 by...
They're 27 by 40.
27 by 40.
Originally, they were 27 by 41, and if you went to frame them, that was always oversized and cost you extra. But now that I think it was in the 90s, they went more for a collectible market, knowing that they had a secondary market. And I used to work at a Suncoast part-time, and we would get posters in from Universal, whatever, and they were 27 by 40, and that became the new size.
Yeah.
So that they'd have that market and they'd just print more posters.
Well, and then you see a lot of people that would cut them down.
That's right.
Like, I've seen that a lot.
Yep.
They would cut down the format, especially the ones that have the white all the way around, including the credits.
That's right.
So you'd have all the information at the bottom of the poster that would just get cut off.
Right.
They would end up just doing the artwork. So the fact that we found all of these.
Yeah.
And, again, like... There was one in particular that was very damaged that just broke Jim's heart.
And the words that came out of your mouth were, I don't think you want to see this, were, at that point I have to turn around and look, and I cautiously turned around and was really sorry that...
Which one was it?
An original Halloween.
Oh!
I mean, and if you looked at it, it was damaged. It was in plastic, on cardboard, tucked away. It would have been nice. I mean, they'd gotten water on it. It was stuck to the plastic. And so anyway, and the top was torn off. I mean, this is a $350 to $450 poster if it's in perfect shape. There were no tack holes from where it would have been probably one of the most expensive posters in there.
Jeez.
It just broke Jim's heart.
Oh God. Yeah.
Like I could see 13-year-old Jim.
Oh yeah.
Crying.
Uh-huh.
I don't blame you.
And you know what? He just opened up the bathroom door and said, I'm done. I'm done, Mom and Dad. I'm going to bed now.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was never combing my hair. It was like...
The water's running all the time.
Yeah. It was like suddenly this moment of an alcoholic's moment of clarity.
Right.
That the world might not be horrible, but it's not mine any longer.
That's right.
I've got to sober up, and I've got to face the music. But we have some great finds, and I think there are still some in there. I think that, he's got stuff that he's, looking for you. So
my favorite thing was I got a Fade to Black.
Okay.
Poster.
Oh yeah.
And there's two of them. There's one with what's his name? I can't think of it. William Christopher.
Dennis Christopher.
Dennis Christopher. Okay.
Yeah.
And it shows him holding, the Dracula, where he's holding the popcorn and soda. But then there's the other one with like the 4 or 5 different faces.
Okay.
That's the one he had.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's a great poster.
Yeah.
You also got a pretty kick-ass Jedi poster, Deb.
Yes, that was cool. Return of the Jedi, yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of finds in there. And then, of course, there is some one that unfortunately time has taken its toll, which is too bad because there are some gems in there that...
He said one whole stack was all paper. You know, these were all like plastic sleeves. But the paper, he said, had gotten water to it. It was like one big chunk, one big block.
Man.
And he said the first one on top was Scarface. And it's like, you know, who knows what was in that block.
Oh, yeah.
And he had duplicates on a lot of things, so there was probably some good... I'm sure there was some good stuff in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. But it's one of those things, I've never seen a haul that big.
No. I mean, I know somebody who goes after... People go, hey, I've got this, and because they know they deal in it.
Right.
But I haven't either. I've never myself gone to look at anything
For
like
just
that.
a fluke.
Yeah.
Just something like that. I've never really walked into, like, a garage and went... Holy shit!
Yeah,
I mean, there have been times where I found individual pieces that I didn't think that I would find. I had no idea what we were in store for when we went over there.
Yeah,
I still got a stack I have to pick up.
Right.
Yeah. You know, I'm having this vision of us on like our 10-speed bikes
right.
on a Saturday afternoon riding over there and just sitting down going through all these posters.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. I mean, it really is turning into a kid again. You start going through these posters. He has a Midnight Madness.
Yeah.
Does he?
A couple of them. Yeah. Yeah. He's got a couple of them sitting there, both in good condition.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
When are you guys going over there?
Well, I went over there tonight, but he wasn't home to pick up the rest of mine. So maybe tomorrow. I might end up going over there tomorrow. Yeah, I know. I know. So, we've got some things that we need to talk about.
All right.
Yeah,
besides the fact that there's like the mother load of 80s posters.
And we became 13-year-old kids again.
Yes, we became and I mean, we were just like, we just sifted through them and then sifted through the same piles again and then found stuff. I mean, original Dragon Slayer, Last Starfighter. I mean, there's just stuff in there.
Jaws 3D.
Oh, Jaws
Nice.
3D.
Yeah.
Just stuff I never... Man, I got to add that to the pile, too.
Oh, I know.
I keep thinking about it.
You know, it's funny because I'd look at Ash would look at me. We get these smiles on our faces because we both are thinking, you know, and I'm sure if you were there, it'd be the same thing. You know, we're all looking at we're all getting this same feeling about it, you know.
It's just, like I said, I've never encountered, like, this many memories.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in one room at one time.
Right.
And even the stuff that wasn't horror and sci-fi was still, like, decidedly 80s.
Yeah. There was a Prince Purple Rain poster in there. I mean, that was just, you know, very 80s, you know. It's right in the middle.
And then with a lot of the quintessential 80s poster artwork.
And that one I know you're looking for, Ash, Annie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're a huge Annie.
You probably could have smuggled that out. It was on the back of Return of the Jedi.
Actually, he gave that to me. I'm sending it to a friend. So.
Oh, yeah? That's pretty cool, though.
I go, here, I'll pull it out. He goes, just keep it.
And he's a nice guy on top of it. Like,
that's good.
Yeah,
like,
he is.
I will just say, the deal that we got, there's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, at a convention, there's no way. Private seller, usually, probably no way.
You know, and the thing was, he told me, I mean, we were talking to him, he goes, I know you guys are cool. He goes, I know you guys are really into this. I can tell by how you look at it that you really like it. So he was cool with us.
Well,
That's
we,
cool.
we can't stop talking about it like a couple
I
of
know.
fucking nerds. I mean, the entire time that we're there, we're just nerding out, and we're just like, well, you know that this isn't the original poster. It's like, I know, but it's still a great poster. And we come back with like, it's like, who is that? It's like, well, that's an old Olivia de Havilland. It's like, I can't believe that was just the shit that we do as nerds.
Right.
You know, it's like, nobody has to, like, roll the runes to know that these are a couple of fucking nerds in here,
Right.
nerding out over all these posters. So that, in and of itself, he must just looked at us and was like, maybe if I just give them the posters, they'll fucking leave. Maybe that's what it was. He's like, otherwise they're going to live here. He's like, they've got sleeping bags.
He was home when you went over there. He just tried to not avoid you. He just
Yeah. He's just like, they're camping out. These guys aren't going to leave.
just
keep
pretend
coming
we're
back.
not home.
Yeah.
It's like they've been through these stacks like 4 and 5 times. They keep finding new stuff.
Fucking nerds.
So we've got some stuff that people maybe have not seen yet. Child's Play hit theaters.
Yeah.
I did see Child's Play, and we will talk about Child's Play in a little bit. Also, Dead Don't Die.
Yes.
Which has had a limited theatrical release.
Right.
I mean, it's been now it's its second week of release.
Right.
But the first week, we were looking at venues, and it was, 75 miles?
Yeah, that's right.
Huh.
That was the closest place, was 75 miles.
Jeez.
It was the same situation. It was like It's Suspiria all over again.
Yeah. You would think in the time we live in, as many screens as we have in Springfield, they could give you one screen for that. I mean, it's put out by Universal. It's, I mean, and
we've got 5 screens dedicated to Toy Story 4 in one theater.
And how many stars are? I mean, you start counting people off: Tilda Swinton, Bill Murray,
Adam Driver.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And
Chloe Sevigny.
yeah.
There's a lot.
Now,
Like there is a lot going on in that film.
I have to say this. What does that say? What does that say? Something about the studio not knowing where to put it? Does that say something about AMC not knowing how to, fan their movies out into enough places, or does it mean that Springfield sucks? I don't know.
Can it be all of it?
It could be all of it.
I was gonna say, can't we check all the boxes off on that one?
I think we just did.
Honestly, I think the way studios have been lately, I think that's what it is. It's like, hey, we got all these really great actors, and we got this movie, but we don't get it. But some people might, so we'll just throw it in like half a dozen theaters and see what happens.
Right.
But if they release it worldwide, like say they did with Child's Play,
right,
they might be having more money, and they just they don't get it.
It's funny because I watched, I did a review on this, and it's up on the site. But I watched it. We had a great time watching it. And I look at the reviews. Like if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, it gives it like 56% from critics and 38% from people who go to see it.
Right.
I'm going. I don't think they got the movie though. I think what they were looking for was Walking Dead, but comedy, and it's not really exactly that. There's a social message to it. There's some kind of over the top social messages, but there's the line that I think Bill Murray says that he goes, I've known zombies that weren't dead. These people that are on cell phones and they're not paying attention to the rest of the world.
Right.
And the one guy in the movie, Tom Waits, is this hermit, and he's seeing all this stuff going on, putting it together before anyone else, and it's because he's detached from the electronic world, the digital world, and I think it kind of says something there. But the humor is great. Ash, what did you think?
Well, for starters, it is an actor's showcase zombie film.
Absolutely.
Which we honestly don't get that much. I mean, I think the closest thing we probably had to was probably been Zombieland. And the fact that was an actor zombie film. It's like we get enough good actors, put them in a room, and then we put a concept behind it where you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. And I think that was sort of it. It was like, hey, is it possible? Is it possible to get all these people in one room and then make a zombie movie once they're there? And I mean, I had a hell of a lot of fun with it. I want to see it again. I had a lot of fun with it. I think, strangely enough, there's a lot of dry humor.
Yes.
Which I almost see it doing better with European audiences.
I agree.
Than American audiences.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but like as Americans, man, we need hit over the head with our comedy. Like that's the only thing that we can get. Once we start adding something that's a little obtuse or dry, we just don't know what the hell how the hell.
Well, don't you think that's come from the studios themselves? They've done that so often. They sort of spoon feed you the comedy. And something that takes a little thought, or it just, it's like the joke grenade that just goes off a few seconds later. I always appreciate that stuff. And that's why I laugh at more.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Clever. Yeah, and I think that it also shows that it's a multi-layered story. Because you can have a story that lays down that foundation, and then you end up getting those actors in there, and then all of a sudden it takes off the second life, and it's enjoyable on a lot of different levels for me.
Yeah. And I thought visually, it looked great. I mean, I thought all the nighttime stuff looked really, really good. I mean, it just looked. I don't know. I mean, horror is about atmosphere. Any movie really is, but horror has that thing. You can do it right or you can do it wrong, and it just. I enjoyed the small town. The small town cops dealing with zombies, and I have to say that Tilda Swinton is she's a ninja mortician.
She's Scottish.
And Scottish, yes.
Yeah, she's a Scottish ninja mortician.
That's right.
Are there any other kinds?
With a secret.
It's like Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird made this girl up. It's like Scottish ninja morticians.
With a secret.
That's the sound the swords make, by the way.
It was a Jim Jarmusch movie too.
Oh yeah, that too. Yes, I mean it's a good-looking movie. It's from a filmmaker standpoint, it's a pretty little film. Like it looks good.
Speaking of pretty, Iggy Pop's in the film.
Right. And who knows if he had any makeup
I
on
know.
or not.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
And we have Carol Kane.
Carol Kane.
Always good. She's always funny.
Yeah. Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover.
Wow.
Right.
Steve
yeah.
Buscemi.
Oh, I love Steve Buscemi.
I mean, it's just. I mean, you start watching. It's like.
Well, it's also
holy crap,
really
this
good
guy's
character actors.
Yes.
You know, you've got people who sort of bring their own little flair, and I mean, even they've got their individual personalities. Carol Kane, for example,
right.
It's like you always know she's going to do something interesting.
Yes.
It's like even if it's not a breakout role or she has a lot of speaking lines, Carol Kane's not going to bring uninteresting to whatever she does.
Right.
It's going to be interesting. Same with Steve Buscemi.
Right.
You know, it's like you've never really watched something been like, but Buscemi was so boring. It's like those are things that don't happen.
Right.
You know, it's rare you get those kind of actors together, and then you get horrible performances. So, you know, you definitely got those great performances, and the fact that you got them in a zombie movie on top of it.
You know, and the thing is, the one thing I liked about the movie is they don't shy away from, okay, Adam Driver was in Star Wars films. No, there are some Star Wars things in the film.
Adam Driver is actually really funny.
Yes.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah, his timing is great.
It's Star Wars just kind of mutes it.
Uh-huh.
It's very strange that he was picked for Star Wars. I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, it's like why would they pick Adam Driver, but it's very strange because I felt that the role of Kylo Ren is not a dynamic role.
No.
And we've got an actor that's extremely dynamic in that role. Obviously he's more than capable of doing the role.
Yeah.
I just don't necessarily understand why they landed on someone who was so more than capable.
I think maybe because of his look.
Could be.
And, you know, he's tall, and maybe that made him menacing, you know, enough. So, I don't know.
And he can be.
Yes.
You know, but what is interesting is that he's so humorous that a lot of his characters are instantly likable.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So anytime that he could have potentially been threatening, basically maybe he's only got Kylo Ren, you know, when it comes to that aspect, because the comedy is physical comedy even, like, he's got sort of this lumbering gait when he really wants to, that he's sort of oafish, but at the same time he's like nerdy and oafish, you know. So I saw Child's Play.
Yeah, and you said you liked it. You said you really enjoyed it.
I thought it was great. I thought it was, and here's coming from a detractor, because I did not want to like it.
Right.
I really didn't. I didn't like the initial Chucky designs that I saw. I didn't get it. I didn't really get what they were doing or what they attempted to do. Okay. I thought, like most remakes that I see initially, that it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
Remakes, reboots are a hard sell for me, always. They always are, because I feel like we could always create a sequel. We could always put that time and energy into something, bring those actors back, bring the, you know, cast and crew back, and have something that pays homage to it, but at the same time is still the lineage and the legacy of the original franchise. Sure. So I went into it thinking that I wasn't going to like it. And end up really, really liking it. And a few points, and I won't go over too much because the review right now is on the site, so if anybody wants to really hear my thoughts on it, it's there.
What was your how was Mark Hamill? That's what I want to get to.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you should say that, because it's almost undecidedly not Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we talk about Mark Hamill as a voiceover actor, everything is sort of larger than life. You know, I mean, we think of him as the Joker, right? You know, or even we think of him as Luke Skywalker. It's still iconic. Like, these are still sort of like archetypes.
Right.
You know, he's able to translate archetypes very well.
Yeah.
And he's always been able to do that. And the thing that's interesting with this iteration of Chucky is that it's dialed back.
Yep.
Okay.
And at first of all, you don't think that it's really a performance-driven kind of thing. And then you realize that he could have done a Brad Dourif, which is just, you know, Brad Dourif's over the top as Chucky.
Very much so.
You know, everything is, you know, the one-liners, and it's like bringing a physicality to the character through his voice. And this was much more subdued. You know, when it did shine, it's like, oh, that's definitely, you know, sort of Mark Hamill's, you know, the way he can channel that.
Yeah.
But it was subdued. But it's a good performance, I think, once you start thinking about it. Like, initially, it's seamless. That's the thing, and maybe that's the thing that worked that people don't understand at first, is that you're not hearing Mark Hamill. You're hearing Chucky. Right. But you're not hearing Brad Dourif Chucky. You're hearing this new Chucky. For people who see the film and they hate it, okay, you hate it. I understand. People who see the film and they like it, oh, okay, you like it. Great. Maybe you're just a fan of Child's Play. Anything that comes out with the moniker on it, you're going to like.
Sure.
Who knows? We have our fans that do that.
Oh, yeah.
Who are just franchise fans. You know, it's like the people who keep rooting for that team that never wins, but it's their team.
Right.
So they're going to keep rooting for it, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
I will go see every Friday the 13th movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I'm a huge fan, even when I recognize there are entries that are less than stellar.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I really liked about it was, I don't think this was a Child's Play movie. Like, I don't think that the screenwriter was actually commissioned. And of course, he'll probably say that he was because, you know, they're all in on the take.
Sure.
And not that it's a fucking conspiracy, but I'm just saying is that these guys have to get paid. And they answer to people.
Yeah.
And in answering to people, a lot of times you can't say, yeah, this is the messed up reason why we've got a new Child's Play. You know, like, they're not going to tell you the chicanery. They're not going to tell you what happened behind the scenes. So, this Tyler Burton Smith, and of course, you know, the character's based by, you know, on Mancini's
Yes.
characters.
Yeah.
So, I can't really believe that Tyler Burton Smith originally wrote a Child's Play script. First of all, not saying that Child's Play script has to be dumb. It doesn't.
Right.
I think in the latter Child's Play movies, the latter franchise movies, Curse of, etc., we've had some interesting writing going on there that I did not expect from sort of the rut that we got into with, you know, Child's Play 3, for example.
Right.
Right.
But the new Child's Play is decidedly, man, it's not a Child's Play movie. Like, besides the fact that Chucky looks like I said, an iteration of Chucky, this is a smart, purpose-driven origin that has some really heartfelt moments to it. I mean, the thing that got me, and I'll sort of leave with this, is that they spent enough time on Andy, who's a little bit older in this, and Chucky's relationship, that you feel for Chucky. At one point, the character is humanized so much that you're like, this is hard. Like, this is hard because it's relationships. It is a relationship.
Yeah.
And for me to be able to watch it, a Child's Play movie, and to go, this is heartbreaking. Like, there were moments that are heartbreaking. There's a moment in particular where Andy realizes that this is Chucky committing these horrible acts, and there's no duality. There's no real duality like we had Charles Lee Ray pretending to be the doll,
Right.
and then we had him as Chucky, right. It was a Jekyll and Hyde that he was trying to pull off. This is an interactive toy that the AI security features have been removed. And it's trying to be the absolute best friend that it can be without having 12 years of knowledge of what it's like to be human.
Right.
It has 12 days.
Okay.
So when it sees someone hurt, whose primary directive is for this person not to be hurt, all it wants to do is eliminate that threat. That's what it wants to do.
Right.
Whether it's a cat, whether it's a human, and it wants to be the best friend possible by doing this. So there's a point where Andy, and I try not to give away too much, but there's a point where Andy definitely realizes they've got to stop Chucky, you know. And this is before the movie really sort of, you know, comes into this huge crescendo and the shit really hits the fan. This is just one of the benchmark moments in the film where basically they've got to kill Chucky. You know, they've got to, you know, disarm it, you know. And like, there's that point where you can tell the character, at least, and I can't remember the actor's name. First name's Gabriel. I can't remember the last name, but plays Andy Barclay in this.
Okay.
Like, there is genuine weight to this decision.
Okay.
Like, he is beside himself upset that even though he knows Chucky is a murderous doll, this is his best friend. And he's got to disable his best friend.
Yeah.
So I dug it. I will tell people, go see it. Go see it if you know nothing about the Child's Play franchise. Go see it if you know everything about the franchise and for a moment can understand that this is something entirely different. All the mechanisms to get this film to work.
Okay.
And they work really well.
Good.
Now, let's talk about something that was very near and dear to your heart. What the fuck is DC doing with their online streaming service?
Jesus Christ. Oh. It's like, it's every day it's something new. It's like, we got this really great idea. We have this streaming service of DC stuff. Shows, comics, movies. This is going to be awesome. People are going to love it. All right, let's do it. 2 hours later, let's cancel this fucking shit. It's too good. It's too good. No, it's putting our live action movies to shame. Fuck this shit.
And that's the question. That's the question were they trying to put out content that they thought was going to complement their feature films, and then they end up putting out content that actually outclassed them?
Yeah, I think they have this whole catalog of fantastic stories and characters, and they're like, okay, well, we can't make that work on the big screen because the budget would just be astronomical. That won't work because price is too high, or people just won't get it, you know? So they don't have faith in it. So we'll just put it on this streaming service that we have, and we'll go from there. And they're looking at their movies, and then they look at, let's say, Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit. Swamp Thing, in the 3 episodes that I've seen, I'm behind, have far outclassed anything that I've seen them put in theaters. And I'm like, holy shit, I am glued to my TV for this 55 minutes. Yeah. And I have to see the next one. I am, it makes me want to sit there and binge it. And then binge it some more. You know, I go and I watch Suicide Squad or Batman vs. Superman. I'm like, okay.
It's enjoyable.
Right. There were parts that I enjoyed it.
Right.
And I happen to be one of the few people that enjoyed Justice League. I thought for what it was nice and enjoyable. It was a popcorn flick.
I agree with
But it didn't make me want to go back for more.
Right.
Now, had there been like a sequel, which we were supposed to have 2 weeks ago, that would have been the Justice League sequel that hit the theaters. That never was.
Right.
But the shows on the streaming service, I want to see these things. These are good. You know, the Titans TV show, which I initially had no interest in because of the whole Robin fuck Batman line. Right. That's not the Robin that I know. But I gave it a shot. I was like, this is surprisingly character driven. There's some quirky characters, and it's not exactly what we know from the comics, but it's pretty good.
Uh-huh.
You know, the Doom Patrol series was really good. It was surprisingly funny.
Wow.
You know, I'm glad they finally gave, Brendan Fraser something to do, and he's fantastic as Mr. Robot. And I don't know. I think they just realized that the TV streaming service stuff was just so much better than what they could do in theater that they just, like, we're going to scrap everything and start over again. And this time we mean it. And it's just a mess. It really is.
Now, we've heard a lot about, especially in relationship to Swamp Thing, we've heard a lot about tax breaks. We've heard a lot that this was on North Carolina's shoulders. It wasn't on DC shoulders. However, I've heard that that's not true.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's not true. They went back and debunked that. Says no, that had nothing to do with them. It was from higher ups on WB.
Wow. I'm going to go on record on saying that they, first of all, did not expect that it was going to be as horror driven. And then they did not expect that horror driven was going to be as popular as it was, and didn't know what the hell to do with that.
I think they thought Swamp Thing was some muscular dude in a camo fatigues running around the swamp, killing whomever was out there, wrestling alligators or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And they're like, wait, what is this? This is horror driven. Oh, we can't have that.
Right.
No. What? Everybody likes it? Shit.
Well,
blame North Carolina.
Right.
And classically, superhero, let's say the idea companies behind superheroes,
right?
The creative companies behind superheroes have a hard time dealing with the horror properties.
Yeah, horror is hard to market to people that you want to market it to.
And then they equally have a hard time when it becomes popular.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what to do with it then. I mean, how long is Marvel going to sit on the Blade license?
They're actually working on something.
but it's been a long time.
They for the last thing I heard is now that they have their full line of all their toys, and that's what they are. These properties are toys for them to play with. They want the whole series of Wesley Snipes Blade movies and the not really that bad Blade TV show to kind of fade back and then they're going to come back and pass it on to a new generation. They're going to start over. They're going to do more Blade movies and fold it not into the MCU, but into their own little thing.
Because, I mean, lest we forget, Blade was essentially the precursor for all this Marvel money.
Yeah.
Right.
As far as their cinematic ventures went.
Yep. And they were actually starting to do their cinematic ventures. The first Blade, there is I won't say a post-credit scene, but there was a cut scene that was supposed to be at the end before they hit credits where Morbius shows up.
Really?
Morbius, living vampire. They cut that out and said, let's just not get, ahead of ourselves. But yeah, they were on their way of doing their own thing. And, but you're right, Blade started.
Leto.
What's that?
And now we've got Jared Leto.
Jared Leto, Jesus. Yeah. He can go back to making music.
It's one of those things, like, for whatever reason, he's too pretty to die. Like, people just keep giving him stuff to do because he's too damn pretty.
He's pretty. Come do this. You're pretty. I want to look at you. You're pretty. No.
I mean, hell, I looked at the new Mobius photos and I was like, you know what? I want to send that guy some flowers. Like, the first thing I thought was like, yeah, we need some Mobius some flowers. That's a damn good-looking vampire. Which classically Morbius was not.
I'm just glad he's not sparkling. So.
Oh, give it time. Yeah. I mean, he was when I looked at him. Maybe that was just me.
You're looking with stars in your eyes. So.
He had a glow around him.
That could have been it. That could have definitely been it. But we see that a lot with horror properties. We see that. I mean, look at the fact that they were going a horror angle with New Mutants. Yep. Where is that movie?
Yeah, that's probably not coming.
I mean, we've got an X-Men film with and it has been largely promoted as a horror X-Men movie.
It's a horror superhero movie, yeah.
Do we have a release date?
No. Nope.
I mean, I know we did for a while. Has it suddenly been...
The last thing that came out was before Dark Phoenix hit, and it was New Mutants was to come out this fall. But after they pulled Dark Phoenix from the theater, they're like, nah, maybe not.
I mean, because online we're getting August 2nd, which is just around the corner,
right?
And I haven't seen anything from it.
I honestly don't think it's going to come out. I think they're going to shelve it. It's going to be one of those gems that we're looking for in a few years. Like, the pilot show to Justice League TV show, which was just god-awful.
Didn't they originally shoot Blade? Blade was sat on a shelf for a little while, and then they pulled it back out and released it later.
Yeah,
wasn't that the case?
Yeah, they pulled it out. They shot it. They had it, and they didn't think it was going to be anything good. Somebody, I think it was Wesley Snipes, actually talked them back into it. And they said, "Well, okay, fine." And the rumor that I heard was he cut a deal with them, saying, "Hey, if it's a bomb, I'll do a movie for you for free." Kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
And then it was a huge hit, and he's like, "Pay me more money." But he's not going to pay taxes on that money.
Right, exactly.
I mean, the closest thing that we've had is Wesley Snipes reprising his role for What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh my God, that's such a great show. Oh yeah.
That is the one show where genuinely I think I might riot if it gets canceled.
But yeah, it's Marvel. Marvel has they have the Deadpool series.
Yeah.
You think they're going to release an R-rated superhero flick under the Disney banner?
Oh no.
That's a lot of money to pass up.
That is a lot of money to pass up. Well, I mean, back in the late '80s into the early '90s, we had Touchstone and we had who was it? What was it? Miramax?
Miramax,
They were both Disney properties, but most people didn't know that, and they could release rated R movies under those banners, and it was okay. It was far enough removed.
Well, the Marvel is a proud gem of the Disney thing. They have their Disney has Marvel, and they have Star Wars, and I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna let it sit for a little while. They're going to go back and forth, bring in their hands that should we release a rated R movie? I mean, it's...
we're Disney.
Exactly.
But it's a lot of money.
Now, here's a big question, and let's see what you think about it.
Yeah.
Do you think we are going to see a Disney-owned DC?
Ooh.
No, absolutely not.
You don't think so?
No. I think Warner Brothers, and I wanted to say this earlier, just hired their new executive president. They have a new head honcho over there now. And she is very capable, but she also has her own view on how things should be going. Right. So it would not be a surprise to see her say, "Hey, we're gonna stop doing stuff and let's start over." And
because but yeah, is everyone here aware that they brought in the Great White Hope?
Yes. Mm-hmm. He's going to be doing the Suicide Squad movie.
Did you hear about this?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah.
What is it?
James Gunn is doing Suicide Squad.
Oh no, the other Great White Hope.
Which one?
Which J.J. Abrams.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
he's
really?
going to be
I did
kind
not.
of.
Apparently, DC has decided that Abrams is going to be their White Knight.
Yeah.
Wow.
That they have brought him in to basically save the DC universe.
It's
okay.
I think no.
I think that
let's get Bruckheimer on the phone.
I think they're gonna hand him a ton of properties. Is what I think they're gonna do.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna hand him a ton of properties, and here's the thing. I don't think that we need a J.J. Abrams infused DC universe.
No, we don't.
But I think they started off on such the wrong foot that it will go over.
Yeah, I think they're panicking. I think they know they're losing their grip. They're losing not just critics, but they're losing fans. We're just like, whatever. We don't care anymore.
Right. It's like how many times can you go to a movie and be disappointed? I mean,
yeah.
will they do it with? Will they do it with?
So
Star
far,
Wars?
we're 6 for 6.
Will they do it with Star Wars though too? There are a lot of fans that aren't happy with the direction that they've gone.
Well, I think the thing with Star Wars was they didn't like the way Luke went.
Yeah.
They want Luke. He's their Jedi Knight, and he wasn't their Jedi Knight. He was kind of a grumpy old Jedi.
Right.
Well, so they revolted on that. It was I think it was too much of a thinking man Star Wars rather than lightsabers. But no, DC will never sell, or Warner Bros. Will never sell DC to Marvel. They will continue to put out shitty movie until the cows come home. They will not give that property up. And J.J. Abrams is not going to change that.
I think, like I said, I think that what we've seen so far has been so lackluster that I think people are going to digest whatever he does. I really do.
Right. It'll be met with a very sense of ho-hum, meh, shrug of the shoulders, lens flares and all. So it's
wow.
J.J. Abrams, as awesome as he is a director. I mean, did you guys both see Brightburn?
I have not yet.
Yeah, I have.
Did you see it?
I mean, well, he produced it. He didn't direct it, but it was a really good superhero movie.
I heard it was
very graphic, and a lot of times like that. I really dug it, but I don't think that's going to translate well to DC Comics and what they have. It's just not going to mix. So, James Wan, who did the Aquaman stuff, I think that's where they should go.
Let him. Unfortunately, they started to burn that bridge because he was a driving force behind Swamp Thing.
Exactly. They really shot themselves in the foot with that one.
Well,
it's a head scratcher.
What is it? What's coming up? The Joker. Have you seen the trailer for the Joker? What are your thoughts on that?
I have seen the trailer. I've read what the plot is supposed to be, and I'm probably just gonna eventually meh.
Yeah.
No, I'm not feeling it. Not at all.
Usually they'll do trailers about 4 months out and then about 2 months out to put the second one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm reserving judgment till that second trailer hits, because the first is always the teaser and then the trailer comes a little later and fills in the story a little more, and I kind of want to see a little bit more before
it's weird, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those weird things that people are going to like, huh.
Right.
Did you see it? Oh, I saw the movie. Did you like it? I don't know.
So I will say this, though. Even though I have seen Joaquin Phoenix vehicles that I did not care for, I have never disliked a Joaquin Phoenix performance.
Oh, I think he's extremely talented.
Gladiator is excellent.
He's a fantastic actor. Mm-hmm. This is just not the right role for him.
Did either of you see I Was Never Really Here?
I actually really enjoyed that movie.
Great.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
Great movie.
Very much so.
You would really enjoy it because it has a very circa 80s Charles Bronson mentality to it.
Okay.
I was surprised, but an art house, like an art house Charles Bronson movie. I know that sounds weird, but man, I really dug that movie.
We talked about a mortician, Scottish mortician ninja tonight. So
with a secret.
So
yeah,
that doesn't sound too far out.
Yeah, I think, and here's goes back to what I think about Marvel. Mm-hmm. They cast the right actors for the right roles. They're huge actors now. They are just huge. Yeah. They are huge A-list actors that can pick and choose what they want. But when they originally got the roles, they were,
Yeah.
I mean, when Iron Man came out,
yes,
Robert Downey Jr. was looking for a comeback. His biggest hit before that was Tropic Thunder, where he played a.
Was that before Iron Man, or was it shortly after?
It was right about the same time.
Okay.
But like he didn't have anything before that.
No.
He had the whole drugs and alcohol and prison and all that, and he was. Right. I mean, he could be an A-list star with the right role, but he had his whole history that people were holding him back on.
Yeah, they took a big gamble on that.
And then you had who else was in that movie? Gwyneth Paltrow. Not really a mainstream A-list actor at the time.
Terrence Howard,
who was again a kind of medium in there.
Yeah.
Your biggest star was
Jeff Bridges.
That was it. And who doesn't love Jeff Bridges?
In anything.
Yeah. And then
it's so weird of thinking the fact that he was in like the real first MCU movie.
Yeah.
Like looking back, it's difficult to think that he was there.
You know, in Endgame they have the Lebowski joke in there too.
Yes, they do.
I think it's
that's hysterical. but yeah, the MCU started out with people that small character actors, you know. Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
His biggest thing was he played Kirk's father in Star Trek for 5 whole minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Right.
You know, Scarlett Johansson, more famous for how she looks than what movies she's been in.
Yeah.
Right.
And she's a pretty good little actress.
Yes.
You know, all these actors are either small actors or people looking for like a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Sam Jackson, who is just, I think, the top tier of awesomeness.
Yeah.
You know?
Now,
great as Fury.
Yeah.
But none of these actors we're bringing in. Marvel's like, we're not bringing in these huge A-list stars. We're making stars.
So, what did you think about Edward Norton in the Hulk the same year? How do you feel? Would you feel that he was on his way up, or he was already sort of? You know...
Edward Norton is one of those actors who, like, he is a great actor.
Yes.
He is just a fantastic actor. But I don't think he's right for Bruce Banner.
Right.
They brought him in, and it was a nice choice, but I don't think it was a good fit.
No, Mark Ruffalo's perfect.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I don't think if you had you have an Endgame with Professor Hulk, I don't see how Edward Norton would pull off the humor. I don't think he has that.
He does not. Yeah. His humor comes off more kind of scathing and angry and demeaning. Mm-hmm. You know, Ruffalo is charming and fun and affable. You know, he's a great actor. You know, he seems like somebody you'd want to hang out with.
Yes.
But yeah, it just was a miscast, and it just kind of quickly covered up.
You know, didn't they say Keanu Reeves? Aren't they?
They want Keanu Reeves for everything.
But isn't he like Adam Warlock? Aren't they talking about him being Adam Warlock?
Kevin Feige is like, every movie that's come up, we have approached Keanu about a role. This role, that role, and he's passed. Is like, I just don't think I'm right for it. And
I think the only thing he's been adamant about has been Wolverine.
Is that right? Okay, yeah.
He's been, when he is asked, he has on multiple occasions said, I think that would be the character that I would play if I were to play one of those characters.
Yeah, I like Keanu. I don't see him as Wolverine, though. I don't know why.
Strangely enough, there's a dark horse in running for Wolverine that people have talked about for the last couple of years. Has anyone seen...
Danny DeVito is not going to play Wolverine, okay? Just stop.
I'd watch that movie.
He's a shoo-in. But besides for DeVito...
It's like I'm looking in a mirror.
Has anyone seen the Daniel Radcliffe artwork?
No.
Okay, so he has sort of been this dark horse where people keep bringing him up for the role of a recast of Wolverine. The artwork looks great, strangely enough.
Sure. Artwork.
He's a small guy. if we're going a little more comic continuity, I mean, Wolverine is a small guy.
Wolverine's a very short character.
So if they are going to do that, it would be, first of all, it would be interesting.
Yeah.
And I do think that Radcliffe, from everything that I've seen, I think if you put him in almost any role, he can adapt. I don't know if you've seen, it was sort of a political thriller that he was in, where he was going undercover with a skinhead organization.
Yeah, I did see it. Yep.
He's great.
Really?
Yeah.
He is absolutely great. And it's very different for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see him as being one of those actors where if you gave him something like this, he might not be everybody's piece of cake, but he would do the best possible job that he could.
Oh, sure.
And I think that you might say that he wasn't right for the role, but that he didn't do a bad job.
I think people would... I hate saying this about him because he seems really cool. He seems like a really nice guy. I don't think people will let him be anything more than Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Transitioning into another big franchise, I don't think people will let him do that.
And
I agree with you. I think he will do the absolute best he can get, and you will get a great performance from him. I just don't think people will...
You think it's too soon, or...
Unfortunately, yeah.
Well, it's like Mark Hamill right after he did Star Wars. It was like, he was in Corvette Summer. It's like, oh, that's Mark Hamill from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or
that's
the
Luke
Big
Skywalker.
Red One. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's
and so he does voiceover, and then all of a sudden later on, and I think enough time has gone by. But Harrison Ford went to, it was in Blade Runner, was in
the Raiders,
Indiana
movies.
Jones. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if there's a rule there, but
yeah, I think it goes actor to actor.
yeah, I
It
think
really
you're right.
And I think a lot of it too is sort of when you do look at Mark Hamill is not a chiseled leading man.
No,
True.
Even before his accident, when he was sort of teen idol quality,
right?
He was still not chiseled leading man.
No,
he was probably the boy next door cute.
Yeah,
more so than anything else. Now, when you get somebody like Harrison Ford that's got that kind of swagger, I think it's easier for them to transition in because they've got leading man appeal already built in. And when we think of leading men, we have a look that's fairly consistent. Even though they might look different
right,
actor to actor, they have a look that's consistent. That's the same way where we can't imagine Tom Selleck as Indiana Jones.
Right.
But had things been a little bit different, we would have had Tom Selleck as Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Tom Selleck has that, again, that sort of rugged leading man quality, even though he does not look like Harrison Ford.
Right.
But they all have qualities that distinguish them as these leading men.
Yeah.
But I think, again, Daniel Radcliffe does not have that. He's more diminutive. He's very small. Mm-hmm. He's an actor's actor.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Harrison Ford, but Harrison Ford isn't exactly what you would call like, the evening at the improv kind of actor.
Right.
In fact, whenever he's asked, he's like, I go to the school of pretending.
Right.
It's like he sort of even sees acting as sort of ridiculous in its own right, but just that he's made a lot of money doing it.
Yeah.
But I think that is very often when we do get people stereotyped, because let's say Chris Star-Lord.
Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Let's say Chris Pratt had not dropped the weight.
Okay.
And he hadn't bulked up.
Right.
Chris Pratt would be doing the same kinds of roles.
Oh, yeah.
He would be doing his character from Parks and Recreation over and over and over again. He loses the weight. He bulks up, buffs up, and suddenly he's the leading man. So now, not only is he Star-Lord, but he's in the Jurassic Park franchise.
Yeah.
We start to see it, and he's been mentioned as a possible candidate for taking the helm of Indiana Jones. Because now he has that leading man appeal.
But the thing is, he had to lose weight. He had to, as you say, buff up to be Star-Lord. His personality was there.
Right.
He had the Star-Lord personality. And I don't see Daniel Radcliffe having that Wolverine personality.
Right. Because he can't really get taller,
It's not.
No,
even if he were the same size, shoot him as short as he is, bulk him up. He can grow out the stubble and he can chomp on cigars all he wants. He just doesn't have that surly, kind of attitude.
Well, let me ask you about this then. What about Tom Cruise?
Absolutely not.
Okay, no, I mean, I had a friend of mine that years ago, he was making a joke. He said, you seen the new Tom Cruise movie? Yeah, he plays the cocky young upstart. And
right, yeah.
It's like, but that was his thing for a number of years. Then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, later on, he's in like The Firm and things like that, and he's getting a little older. Now he's aged very well.
Yes.
And so, but do you find him? He's in very serious movies and he's in action movies. Do you find him to be like Harrison Ford?
No.
Okay, so then after Daniel Radcliffe grows up a little bit more, maybe he bulks up a little bit. Do you think, because Tom Cruise is not a tall guy?
Tom Cruise is known for being a short guy.
Right. So,
but they shoot him taller.
Right, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Stallone also, but but do you think that bumps him up time and maybe doing? Does he have to do edgier movies or something, or
no? I think it's
just actor to actor.
I think it just goes back to actor to actor. It's,
okay.
I mean, Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise.
That's right.
He's not a bad actor.
No.
He basically plays the same character.
Yes.
Cocky young upstart.
For a while, yeah.
Cocky, middle of the road type guy. Cocky kind of older guy.
Middle-aged guy.
Yeah.
How about this for a little fact?
Okay.
He'll be cocky, set in his ways, ruffian.
He will be.
That's just
Cocky, grumpy old man is the last Mission Impossible movie.
Yes.
Okay, which Fallout.
I love that.
Which I have not seen. By the way,
it's a great movie.
I've not seen Fallout.
Lots of great stunts, lots of action sequences.
It's my favorite one so far.
It's a really good movie. Tom Cruise was the same age filming Fallout as Wilford Brimley was.
It was the movie before that.
Was it before?
It was the
as when he was filming Cocoon.
That's right. I did know that.
And that's really weird. Tom Cruise is in his mid-50s right now.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
And he's doing another Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to keep doing action movies, and that's fine. But that's his niche. He's kind of this cocky, roguish, charming guy, and that's the niche character he's going to play. He's not going to suddenly turn around and turn into a thespian.
Right.
Daniel Radcliffe is going to be a charming boy next door, charming, romantic comedy guy.
Right.
What if he loses an eye?
Or just wears an eye patch?
Now we're talking.
And a cape.
Can we get a Flerken over to Daniel Radcliffe quickly?
I'm just saying, Radcliffe loses an eye in a freak industrial accident.
I actually have a... how about this for left field casting for Wolverine?
Jim Carrey.
The kid who played Ron Weasley from Harry Potter.
Oh, wow.
Have you guys seen him lately?
I have not seen him lately.
You guys really should see him. He has bulked up. I think he's too tall for the part, but he's bulked up and he just has this look about himself like he's taken 12 consecutive cold showers in a row. He really he has the look about him like somebody just pissed in his Cheerios and he has nothing else to eat. And he's just like staring at this bowl full of Cheerios full of piss and he's like and that he has a good look. But he's too tall.
I'm not having Cheerios tomorrow.
But Marvel, they do great casting. They cast the right actor for the right part.
Yes.
Yeah.
When Terrence Howard left the Iron Man franchise, and I'm not a big fan of Terrence Howard by any means.
He's okay. Yeah.
But they went and cast Don Cheadle.
Yes.
And holy shit, what an upgrade.
Yes.
And
I agree.
It's not like you went out and got, a huge A-list actor to come in, but Don Cheadle is one of the best actors working.
He is.
He's one of the busiest too. He's a great actor. They got the right actor for that part, and Marvel or Warner Brothers won't do that with DC. Like, no, we have to have A-list actors.
Let me ask you this: could you see Terrence Howard as War Machine?
No.
Nope. I couldn't either.
Nope.
Well, since we're on the topic of comic books, what I do want to get into in next week's episode is all of the talk about Glenn Danzig's Veronica anthology. And I know you've heard about this, but apparently it has now been billed as the Room of Horror Films.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Well. Hi, Glenn.
We will get into that next week. Next week we might also have a couple more reviews. We might actually have an open slot because we've been sort of
for Glenn Danzig?
taking people around for Glenn Danzig. I am not letting people think that we're actually having a Glenn Danzig
if
on
you're
the show.
listening.
But so next week we'll try to catch up on some things that we weren't able to talk about tonight. We want to also thank Craig Ahrens.
Definitely.
We want to thank David
Espinosa.
Espinosa, yes.
We want to thank basically the two people behind The Evil at the End of the Street who were on tonight to talk about us, share some personal experience. That was great. Talk about the genesis of the film. I had a great time tonight. I want to thank everybody who has actually listened to us live. Thanks for listening to us live. Hopefully we'll be able to start doing this every week. And then people who aren't listening to us live can obviously download the podcast. I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank you, Jim Chandler. Thank you, John Gardner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
Good night.
See you.
Oi.